Alright, what's up guys, I'm Garfafloff. Today we have another Pokemon X and Y NU battle. Let's go ahead and look at the teams really quickly. I have Assault Vest Articuno, Offensive Porygon, Specially Defensive Dustox, Physically Defensive Leafeon, Scarfed Primeape, and Sash Rock Polish Rampardos. Yeah. He's got, I'm assuming, specially defensive Audino, because let's be honest, what else does Audino do? Physically defensive Avalugg, again, what else does Avalugg do? And then he's got a Torterra, which means Avalugg could potentially be physical, because both of those things could be offensive or defensive, so I gotta watch out for that. He also has a Behem. I'm assuming it's Specs, although it turns out not to be Specs. You guys will see in a second. He also has a Pyroar, which is generally Specs, which probably should have keyed me into the fact that Behem wasn't Specs, but whatever. And last but not least, he has a Scarfed Primeape, because let's be honest here, all Primeapes are Scarfed, except for like that one banded Primeape that I've seen before that was just horrible. It got absolutely destroyed. Anyways, so he's going to lead out with his Primeape as I lead out with my Articuno, predicting the Torterra lead to get up the rocks, because my team has a bit of a rock weakness. I'm going to switch out now into my own Primeape, predicting him to go for a Stone Edge or a U-turn. Had he have gone for a U-turn, then I could have U-turned on his switch and then gotten the momentum, but he does end up going for a Stone Edge, and I could live that quite obviously, and I'm going to go ahead and just go straight for a Close Combat, because Close Combat can hit pretty much everything on his team except for Behem, which I don't think he's going to go into. He ends up going into Avalugg, so I was right about this. This is going to do a massive chunk, despite this being, I'm assuming, defensive Avalugg. Based on that damage, it could be non-defensive. I realized that was a crit, but it didn't matter, so get over it. So I'm going to take some Rocky Helmet damage here, and he's going to switch out as well as me switching out, because I figured he would. I'm going to go out into my Porygon, predicting his either Torterra, because I have Ice Beam for that, or his Behem, because I'm pretty bulky, because I have the Eviolite, so I know I could take a hit or two from Behem. I'm going to go ahead and just go straight for a Tri-Attack. I end up getting the burn, which is fantastic, and as you've seen so far, the hacks are going this way. Don't worry. That changes. He's going to go for a Psychic, and that does a lot of damage, so I know I can't stay in anymore. I'm going to go ahead and switch out this turn, because I don't want to stay in against this. That would be a kind of horrible idea. So, I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Articuno, because Articuno is Assault Vest and can take hits sometimes. He's going to go ahead and go for a Psychic, and he's going to get the Special Defense lowers. Like I said, the hacks will even out, if not go in his favor. So, I'm going to go ahead and lower my special defense, which is a bit upsetting. It's frowny face. And now this turn I'm going to go ahead and just go straight for an Ice Beam, because I know Ice Beam will hit this thing pretty hard, and it might even kill, and if it doesn't kill, Articuno isn't entirely necessary. He would just be nice for Torterra. He is going to go ahead and take out my Articuno. Now, the special defense drop didn't matter, or at least it had a very low chance of mattering. I would have ended up living that Thunderbolt, or I would have had like a 10% chance to live it, and knowing my luck, I wouldn't have lived it. So the hacks didn't really matter too much there. I'm gonna go ahead and my Rampardos now, because I know Rampardos outspeeds this thing, as well as I can get a hit off on something else if I want to. I'm gonna go for an Earthquake here, because I don't want to miss a Stone Edge. I'm not gonna go for a Crunch, because if he brings this out, I don't want to break my Sash, which does end up being quite a bit of a help later on. Anyways, so I go for the Earthquake here, and that's going to bring him down. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill, but it doesn't really matter, because I do outspeed this as well, and I can just go for another one and kill off his Avalugg, and Avalugg is going to do that little weird stompy foot thing that you guys saw there. Now he goes out into his Torterra, which I was fearing, because I cannot hit this Torterra for any damage at all. I'm going to go out into my physically defensive Leafeon, though, who walls this thing entirely. Had this have been physically defensive, that could have been a different story if he had, like, Toxic to whittle me down, but I do have Heal Veil, so maybe not. He's going to go for a Rock Polish and then a Stone Edge. He ends up getting a crit, again, with the hacks evening out. I'm going to go ahead and just go straight for a Leaf Blade. I know I'll get off a decent amount of damage, as well as I can take whatever he wants to go for. He's a Torterra, let's be honest here. Was he going to go for an HP Ice? Oh no! Special Torterra! Anyways, so he's going to switch out here, seeing as he can do nothing, as I go ahead and go for the Synthesis. He switches out into his Pyro, which is horrible, because I don't have anything to switch into this Pyro. My team is incredibly weak to fire, and I'm definitely not going to go out into my God, I forgot its name, right? My Rampardos, rather. So, I don't want to go into Rampardos, because again, with the sash, I can go out into Dustox, because Dustox is pretty useless against this team. He goes for a Dark Pulse, predicting me to go out into my Rampardos. He ends up getting a crit. Again, cough, cough, evening out hacks. Yeah, you guys get the point at this time. I probably won't even point it out anymore. Probably. He's gonna go ahead and switch out here because he knows he can do nothing to me, seeing as he is Specs and or Scarf. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm assuming it's Specs based on the damage. Plus, no one runs Scarf Pyro. I go for a Sludge Bomb trying to get some poison hacks. I do not get any, which is a little bit sad face, but whatever. He's gonna go ahead and get some recovery back on his Autono, and I have to switch out here, so I can do absolutely nothing to this. I could Roost, but there's really not much of a point. He's probably just gonna Flamethrower next time I have to switch into that. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and go out into my Primeape, hoping he doesn't have any sort of attack to hit me, because a Double Edge might have even killed me there. Had he have gone for whatever attack he carries, this could have been a different story entirely, but he goes for the Wish, which was probably the better play, to be honest. But whatever. Now he's gonna go ahead and switch out into his his Torterra, and I'm gonna go ahead and go for a close combat, hoping that this kills, because Torterra is a massive problem against this team. It can rip a gigantic hole in this team, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and kill this as easily as possible. But no, he lives with like 4 HP, and I have to switch out here into Humiliation because my Primeape didn't kill. So, not really though. I'm gonna go ahead and go out into my Leafeon, seeing as Leafeon, you know, again, can wall this thing entirely, so, yeah. He's gonna go ahead and take some Life Orb damage. I'm going to get my leftovers back, and this turn, I'm going to go ahead and go for a Roar, predicting his Pyro to come in. And, guess what? Guess what? I was right. Wow, that was an amazing prediction. Good job. I did it. Anyways, so the interesting thing about going for a Roar, when they go into their good switch, it's generally, they're gonna stay in with their bad thing. I don't know why, it just happens every time. So, I'm gonna predict him to stay in with his bad thing, in this case the Behem, because I outspeed, that's why it's a bad thing, in case you're wondering. I'm gonna go ahead and just go straight for a Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade is going to knock this thing out after the massive amount of leftovers and burns and such that turn. There we go. So, Behem's gonna go down there after looking incredibly shocked while getting hit with that Leaf Blade. I don't know if you guys saw that, but you should go back and look at it, because it was funny looking. Anyways, we're gonna get back some leftovers, and he's gonna go out into his Pyro again, and like I said, he's probably just gonna go for a Flamethrower next time I need to switch into my Dustox, and lo and behold, I am right. So, I go out into Dustox, he's gonna go ahead and just go straight for a Flamethrower and knock out my poor Dustox, which is a shame. Sad face, I'm sorry you didn't get to do anything, Dustox. You did a fantastic job. So, Dustox is going to die here, but that does free up my switch, so I can go out into my Primeape now. And I'm going to go ahead and just go straight for a close combat here, because it hits pretty much everything on his team. And he's going to have to kill this off, because his Torterra cannot take 2, and like he's not going to go out into his Autono, because that's still super effective. And yeah, anyways, now he's going to go out into his own Primeape, and here, I'm going to predict that I would lose the speed tie and switch out. Plus, I might not be able to kill, and he definitely would, seeing as I got a defense lower. He is going to make the prediction that I go into Leafeon, which is a fantastic play, and he's going to get the poison, which is a shame with the poison jab, because I don't think I said that. But it didn't really end up affecting the battle at all. I'm going to go ahead and take some poison damage here as he goes for another poison jab, and that's going to put me down to, 52 HP. I was going to say 54, but I was wrong. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Leaf Blade here. Leaf Blade's going to put him down to about 3/4, a little over that, though. And after the leftovers and poison damage, he's easily going to be able to knock me out with another poison jab. Personally, I don't think poison jab's a great choice for Primeape, because the only fairy type in NU right now is Slurpuff, and I feel like there are better ways of dealing with Slurpuff than a poison jab. I bet Slurpuff can even live a poison jab from this thing pretty easily. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and my Porygon now, because I know Porygon can live a poison jab from this thing, as well as Porygon will be able to potentially get some hacks with Tri-Attack, plus Porygon's the thing I need the least right now. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Tri-Attack, get off some damage, and I'm not going to stay in here, because even though Porygon's the thing I need the least, there's an obvious switch being Primeape. So I'm going to go out to my Primeape, hoping that he goes for a Wish, trying to pass it into his Torterra, because I could potentially be able to Oko Torterra from where it is. He's going to go for a Wish, and I figured he would go out into Torterra, but he ends up going for a protect here, which ends up being a pretty good play actually, because had he have not gone for this protect, something towards the end would have been completely different. So he's gonna go for the close combat here, or I'm gonna go for the close combat rather, and he's going to get his wish back. Now he's going to switch out because he does not want to stay in and eat up a close combat. That is not his favorite meal. He does go ahead into Torterra though, and Torterra definitely doesn't want to take one either because I outspeed this thing, so 2 close combats will be able to take it down. We don't quite kill it after the life orb damage, which is unfortunate, but whatever. 1 more close combat will kill, which is nice. And now he's going to go out into his own Primeape to scare me out, seeing as last time I didn't risk it. This time I'm not going to risk it either because I'm not good with the luck kind of deal. That's not what I'm about. I'm not about the luck game. I'm about the being better than my opponent's game. So now I'm going to go out into my Porygon. Porygon unfortunately does have to die here because, like I said, not going to risk that speed tie. Not happening. Porygon's going to go down here, which is unfortunate, but that means I get a free switch into my, my Rampardos. I totally forgot what Pokemon it was there, but I know I can live 1 hit from this thing because I am sashed, as I said in the beginning, so I'm going to go ahead and take a close combat, which will not matter, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake, and Earthquake is going to kill the Primeape, which is good because Primeape was the last thing left on his team that had any sort of offensive presence, because let's be honest here, what can a freaking Audino do? Except for, I guess, a couple things maybe. Anyways, he goes out into his Audino now, and I'm not scarfed, so I can go ahead and go for a Stone Edge, switch up my moves. Does about half, which doesn't end up mattering, let's be honest here. A close combat would have probably OHKO'd from full HP anyways. He goes for a Dazzling Gleam, which is scary because had he predicted either of my 2 switches for, with Primeape into Audino, he would have probably been able to OHKO me. Anyways, now it's 1v1 here. He goes for a protect, and at this point, this is my 7th close combat, so I only have 1 left. If he is the horrible person that I'm assuming he is going to be, he's going to go for this next one, which he does, but my luck does prevail for once in my entire life, and I'm going to go ahead and be able to close combat and knock him out. Let's be honest here, had he have gotten that 2nd close combat, that would have just been unfair, because I played better than him on multiple occasions during this battle. His team just matched up well. Plus, Audino is cheap. Really cheap. I hope it goes RU. I don't think it will, but I hope it does. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a pretty fun match. He did get incredibly salty towards the end, and he was rather upset that I won, despite me definitely deserving to win. But whatever, what can you do? I've gotten salty at times as well, so I'm not gonna, not gonna judge him too much. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! I'm gonna say it normally. Bye.